Welcome to Radiant Reiki with Carol and my podcast, The Radiant Wave. Today, Spirit wanted me to talk about healing and how healing your past, whether it was from childhood or just in your past in general, will really bring in a beautiful future. How you can, if you can heal your past, you become a totally different person. And you can bring in success and love and everything that you want in this life. But if you're still held by your past beliefs and limiting conditioning beliefs, then your future is going to be more of your past. It's going to look the same. So the reason why they're having me do this, I think, is because this is what I'm going through right now. Right now, I'm realizing there were some situations in my past that I looked at from a different perspective, perhaps a wrong perspective. And so this was pointed out to me and I went, wow, okay, shoot, that's amazing. So and along with having a different perception of a situation, there could be grief or could be guilt, could be shame, that kind of thing. So we are all, when we grow up, we've all been conditioned with certain beliefs. And we've been conditioned, some of us have been conditioned about personally, we've taken it personally, what we can do in our lives and what we cannot do. Those may have been told to us by caregivers or parents, what we can and can't do because of who we are. Or you could also be conditioned in the right way too. But in any case, we are conditioned by our caregivers, parents, and that kind of thing. You may just be conditioned by their modeling of certain behaviors, by watching your parents do certain things. That may have conditioned you to thinking into certain limiting beliefs. But most of us have, in this life, have some sort of limiting beliefs that we grow up with about what we can and cannot do. And so this is something that we need to heal because there really is no limit to anything. One thing is, when you get older, you can't do a bunch of things. Well, that's not necessarily true. So these are things, it's all up here what you can do, right? It is in your mind and in your heart. If you think you can do something, darn it, you're going to be able to do it. If you don't think you can, if you think you're too old to do something, well, guess what? You'll be too old to do that thing. So it's all up to you and your beliefs. So I believe we should have the best beliefs possible. And then our future is limitless. We don't want to limit ourselves in this life, right? Because we are so much more than these physical bodies. We are spiritual beings in a physical body right now, dealing with this life. But our spiritual being is so much more powerful than this body. So we can make our bodies be what we want them to be. And we can, we can try anyway. That's all we can do. So I wanted to share with you what my healing path is right now. Is I realized that sometimes our memories are wrong, and so if, like, for example, when I talk to my grown-up children and they tell me about a certain memory they have that we've all experienced together, I had this view of it. They have different views. And it's so interesting to me. They're looking at it from their childhood eyes. I'm looking at that time. At that time, I was an adult. I was looking at with my adult eyes. Now, that doesn't mean that mine are right. It just means they're different. So it's so interesting how, but when we look at things with childhood eyes as adults, because that's the only memory we have of when we were a child, those perceptions still come into play. So we want to make sure that whatever perceptions that we have about that situation are the truth and not necessarily something that you believed as a child because of beliefs, limiting beliefs. So one way to do that is there's an inner child healing meditation. I'm going to put a link in the description box for that. That kind of can get you going back into your past and finding out what really may have affected you and your personality now as an adult from what happened in your past. And it isn't that parents or caregivers are wrong or anything. They're only passing down their limiting beliefs. So they're just doing the best they can with what they know. And as me as a parent, that I did the same thing. I passed down my limiting beliefs, I'm sure. I'm doing the best I can and doing what I know, right? So there's no wrong, nobody's wrong. It's just, it is what it is. So, but we can still heal from it. So what I realized this week is that in my past, not as a child, but in my grown-up life, in my marriage and in a relationship I had after that, a long-term relationship after that, both of those relationships I stayed in a little too long. I stayed in perhaps, I don't know if it was whether fear it was involved or whether it was, you don't quit or what, but or maybe it wasn't that bad. It's not that bad. I can stay here. I can do this, right? It could have been that. But in any case, I stayed longer than I should have. And it wasn't good and healthy for me to stay in those relationships for as long as I did. So because of this, I now have a little guilt and a little shame. On the marriage part, it probably wasn't good for my kids to stay that long, for me to be in that relationship that long. Probably wasn't good for them either. So now I have guilt and shame for them. I have guilt and shame for my own self that I didn't leave sooner, right? And so I'm working with that. And it's interesting because you got to learn in your healing process, you got to learn to forgive yourself. This is for me kind of hard because I'm cool about forgiving other people. I can forgive other people for doing things all day long. I can forgive them, no problem, most of the time. Doesn't mean I want to hang out with them or think that what they did was right or okay. No, I'm not approving of what they did. I'm just forgiving it. I'm releasing it. It's no longer going to hang around in my person because that doesn't help me. So that's all I'm doing is releasing that. So it seems like I'm able to forgive other people much easier than I can forgive myself, which I think is not good because it shows a lack of self-love, right? So if you're like me and you have difficulty forgiving yourself for things, then maybe you might need to learn a little bit more about self-love. And we're going to be teaching a class about that in the future, so I'll let you know. But in the meantime, you might want to try the inner child healing. That might be a good start to your path for healing. Also, I used 2 spiritual therapists. One was male, one was female, and both helped me on my self-love journey as well as healing my past. And both can do hypnosis, which is awesome because it really gets down to your subconscious and you find out what your subconscious is really thinking and feeling, because you have to get your mind, your conscious mind, in alignment with your subconscious. When those two are in alignment, you're healthy. If your conscious mind is thinking one thing, your subconscious is thinking another, we got to get those two together because that subconscious mind is going to sabotage you. The subconscious sabotages your situations all over the place. and you don't even know it. So we don't want any sabotage going on. We want to be in control. So if your conscious mind and your subconscious are in alignment, you then become in control of your life, and you can steer it, and you can be in power, and you can go the way you want to go. So that's what I've been working on this week, is learning to forgive myself for staying in my situation, for staying too long in those situations. But for you, just remember, you are just as important, or perhaps more important, than whoever you've been forgiving. If you're able to forgive others, then you can forgive yourself. Because think of yourself like I'm going to cry. That means that what I'm saying is absolutely the truth. So just think of yourself as a really good friend, right? You should be a good friend to yourself, right? And what would you say to your good friend when they tell you what they feel guilty or shame about? You'd probably forgive them, right? You'd probably tell them nice things that, they did the best they could, or whatever you would say. Say those things to yourself because you deserve it, right? And once you can release guilt and shame on yourself and forgive the other people for whatever they did. And again, when you're forgiving them, you're not approving of whatever they did was okay. It was not. But you are releasing any feelings that you have of animosity towards them. You go, you know what? You did what you did. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let it go. Does it mean I'm going to hang out with you? No, you don't have to hang out with them. You don't have to be near them at all to forgive them. You don't have to tell them you forgive them. You just do it. So by doing that, you are releasing from your body, from your subconscious and your conscious, they get in alignment, and you release any guilt or shame for yourself, or any unforgiveness that you have towards another. By releasing all of that, you become a whole lot lighter, and a whole lot healthier, and a whole lot more capable of doing everything that you want to do. And you actually, by doing these things, you step into some major power. You step into your power and become who you truly are. We came into this life and stepped into these bodies as spiritual beings to learn lessons and to become better human beings and to help others, bring others along with us. What I'm hoping to do with you today is bring you along with me on my healing journey. Hopefully my healing journey will teach you something about maybe what you can do. Because that's what we're here. We're here to do so much more than just wallow in all the bad things we did, or all the bad things somebody else did, or, because the more you wallow in that, the more those kinds of activities or experiences will be coming back to you again and again. Because in my example, although I left one situation, which was great, took me a long time to leave, but I did leave, so yay me. And then I stepped into another situation and did it again. But guess what? I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do it again, because now I can see it. So when you can see your past and your life in a different lens, and this is often with the help of a spiritual therapist, but it could also be through journaling, it could be through meditation, it could be through Reiki. Reiki sessions also can bring clarity, and even with friends. But just realizing it, and then releasing, letting go of all guilt, all shame, and all unforgiveness will bring you so much happiness. Really, you're going to be so much happier. You're going to be lighter and happier. So I strongly encourage you to all, we all probably have a lot of healing to do, all of us, including me. I'm working on my stuff. If you want more information about how to heal or what to do, contact me. My information's in the description box, and I'll point you in the right direction. Or if you want to have a Reiki session with me, we can do that together too. There's a lot, and we also have oracle cards. Those are messages from spirit that help us move through any problems that we have in our lives too. So that's always part of my Reiki session, is getting a oracle card reading, and I often get messages for people on the table too. So that's all part of the fun. So I hope to have you. I'd love to help you with that, and let's all heal and be the best we can be, and let go of any conditioned or limiting beliefs of our past. That is not the truth. The truth is we are limitless, and we can do whatever we want. We can move in any direction we want, no matter who we are. So if you believe you can do something, darn it, you can. Okay? Don't forget that. I love you in love and light. Take care. I'll see you next time.